Hello and welcome to Almost Fast Racing. I'm a terrible driver and I blew up my $50 Facebook Marketplace motor, and I think instead of getting a motor that I know runs and somebody's tested, has a video of it running, good compression, everything, I have a YouTube subscription, so I think with that I have the knowledge and the skills to build an engine. I've never done it before, so not really sure if it's going to run or drive. I really hope so. The motor that's in my track car is from a 1988 BMW 325i, and it's an inline-six motor that's 2.5 liters of displacement, and it revs to about 6,700 RPM. Engine I'm going to build is not quite that. You take the bottom end from a 325e, and that's 2.7 liters of displacement, so it's a little bit bigger, it has a longer stroke to it. But you take the head from the 325i because it revs a lot higher, and you kind of Frankenstein them together, and you get a little bit more torque, a lower compression ratio, which is better for boost. Should have a little bit more torque, a little bit more fun, and I've never built an engine before, so we'll see what happens. For the build I'm doing, I just bought a used long block for a 2.7 liter motor, and the bottom end completely disassembled it, sent it to a machine shop, had all the cylinders honed, had the block decked. I took the head off my old 325i motor, had that also sent to the machine shop. Also, this manages to happen to me a lot. I either fill up the memory on my phone and I don't have the video, or I lose the video somewhere, or whatever. I don't have any footage of me putting the crankshaft in and putting the main bearings in and the main end caps and stuff. So I guess we're just going to start right with the pistons going into the motor. So we've got all the rings on, well, the other 5 are pistons. We already have one in the engine over, oops. We already have one in the engine over there. So now we've got these guys in the engine. We've got all our pistons ready to go. We've got the end caps. Oops. We've got the end caps off of them already, or rod caps, whatever you want to call them. We've got the rod caps off already. They've all got the rings on. The rings are all have the gaps facing the correct orientation, 120 degrees for each. We have them all nicely set up here. We've all got the numbers, which are on the exhaust side. We have to remember that for when we do the caps. So we're gonna go through, check. This is piston number 6. We are gonna double check that our ring gaps are 120 degrees offset, which they are, so we are good to go there. Then we're going to make sure our intake is on the intake side where the valve relief is. I should probably, I'm going to kind of offset this to the side. We'll get the ring compressor on. Oops. We'll get our ring compressor tool on. While using the ring compressor tool, you don't want to just crank it down all the way. You want to kind of gently guide those rings so they're not getting stuck just outside on the outside edge of the piston. Like we did a little bit of that right there. There we go. Alright, so nice and tight, good to go. Probably a little low on it, but it'll still work. We'll get lined up. We've got the arrow that faces towards the front. That's kind of right down the middle as well. We can also take a peek from underneath and make sure that that's going to line up. That's probably the nicest way to do it. Get a nice soft rubber end of a rubber mallet and just kind of gently tap it. I'm like barely even letting, I'm kind of holding it back. Not even letting gravity do what it's going to do. Not like walloping on it, but oh. And then once it makes its way in, it'll be all the way in there. And from that point, you should be able to kind of just give a nice gentle push. From here, we'll go underneath. So just gotta go through. There's a piston, as you can see, that it's way off. So it's gonna reach up. Oops. Gonna realign it. This takes 2 hands, but I'm trying to film with one of them, so this should be interesting. And kind of reach up sometimes, just pull it down, and there we go, it's right on there. And then we're gonna grab the cap and put that on. Kind of hand thread those in just enough for them to catch, so not falling out on us. And we'll just use this, go a little bit each side at a time, so it's kind of going on there nice and even. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I don't know if that really matters. And then we're checking right at the top there. I'll kind of open that up again. So what we're checking for is at the top here, this gap, we want to make sure there's nothing in the way and everything's going in right. If that closes up we're barely tightening this. All right, so we've got cylinder 6 in now. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate our crankshaft so that 2 and 5 are in the place that we want them. All right, and again, grabbing, oh, this ring is trying to escape. Grabbing, double check, we got 120. Make sure that's good. Yep, okay. Make sure the intake relief valve is on the intake side. That number is stamped in on the other side. Okay, we'll put that off, kind of hold it in place there. All right, so we've got 3 out of our 6 cylinders in. And since we just put cylinder number 2 in, because we have the crankshaft with the journal for the connecting rod way down low, we'll also do cylinder number 5 next. All right, last one, cylinder number 4. And just to be safe, double checking that we have cylinder number 4 stamped into that. We have our intake relief valve on our intake side, number stamped on our exhaust side. All our ring gaps are in the correct places and the correct orientation relative to each other. Get that mounted in. Get that on top. Way too big. Tighten that down nice and carefully. I'm just going to leave a finger gap here. See if that helps. Wow, that went nice and smooth on that one. It's not rust, there's a little blood. I keep cutting my fingers open. Okay. Because that seems to honestly be working the best. Again, just nice and gentle. I'm kind of letting gravity just pull that hammer right down. And it is more than enough to get that tapped in correctly. And then kind of tapping in my hand. And then go underneath, make sure it's all aligned. Oh, that one came right down correctly. I'm going to grab my last rod end cap. Make sure that the number stamp is facing towards the exhaust side. There we go. This untight me. I'm going to grab my extension. And just make sure that that kind of tightens right up. Nice and easy. I mean, I'm saying hand tighten, but this is just a smooth ratchet extension, a chrome extension with gloves covered in oil. So it's not going to get very extra tight on me. So, all right, and then we're going to kind of double check. Let's see how it rotates around. Oh. Beautiful. And nice and smooth. I'm kind of happy with that. How's that look to y'all watching? And just rotate that around nicely. So it's going nice and easy. Let's fire it quick. Why is it not starting? Oh, we got a lot of work to do. Okay. Perfect. So we've got our engine flipped over, and next thing we're going to do is we're going to torque all of the connecting rod bolts down to 20 newton meters or 14.5 pound-feet of torque. And we're just going to take our time. We'll do a little bit on each side, kind of going even as we go through. There's a little click. I know I say this every time, but I really wish that this torque wrench made, okay, why is it stuck on there? I really wish this torque wrench made a more definitive clicking noise when it was kind of like where it's supposed to be. It's like almost hard to notice. All right, we'll rotate it around, get it up to the top here. And that way we don't need to use an extension because apparently that can affect torque. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'd rather not take the risk. So, boom, click, click, can also pretend we have a digital one if we just go beep, 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 beep. Click, beep. All right, so now that our rotating assembly is rotating, we've got to get all the head stud bolt holes all cleaned out and get the surface all perfectly clean. Because before we go attacking this with the air compressor, we're going to push the WD-40 right down the bottom here. Oh yeah, even that's kicking up a bunch of crud. Yummy, 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 yummy. See if we can get nice and... Ooh, yeah, there we go. You don't want that in there because you're going to get a wrong torque spec and your head won't torque down correctly. So we can actually... That one's pretty bad. I'm going to do this a couple of times and then we're just going to go to the air gun. Next thing we're going to do... And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cover the entire garage in oil. Whoa. Let's keep that down. All right, so now that's coming out clean. All right, I'm assuming that change in noise means it's in. All right, so we're having a little fun getting the locating stud through the head gasket there. So I'm gonna find a sockets. I'm gonna turn this so none of the cylinders are at top dead center or top at all. And that way, when we're doing like the rockers and everything, we don't have to worry about the valves hitting the pistons and making life a mess. Always fun. Oh. Okay. And then we just gotta get the head onto those locating dowels. Looks like it's good on this side. I just gotta do some finagling on this side, it looks like. Just make sure it's okay. Oh, perfect. So we got nice all around there. I have lots of motors to rebuild, so if y'all have any suggestions for how I can make these videos better, please comment that. Because I will have probably many chances to make it better. Because I will probably keep blowing up these engines for whatever reason. Like that one back there. Now we got the head on, still need to torque it down. But before we torque it down, I want to put the camshaft in. Yeah, so this is the one, actually this is the one that came out of the engine that was in the race car that blowed up. And there is quite a bit. If I drag my fingernail along it, it's like getting stuck in all these grooves. I don't know if you can see those grooves on camera, but they are pretty bad. So I'm not gonna be using this one. This one is junk. Yes, this one doesn't really, it has like some mild scoring on it. So we are going to use this one. But I can already see sticking to the lobes on the camshaft is some nice little copper and some sparkly bearing material. So that's a little bit of a red flag. So we will have to clean that off thoroughly. All right, so this will be cleaned up. Now that our camshaft is all oiled up and lubed up, we're going to cut nice and easily, gently, hopefully not completely break everything it passes through. Nice and gentle here. Don't want to scuff it up more than it already is. It'll be fine, but maybe not. We'll find out. Okay, so there's that. Now we're just gonna put our cam seal on it. We got a nice fresh one. Righty, lefty, loosey, tighty. Okay. All right, so we just got to torque the head down, and we've got ARP studs with the ARP nuts on it. Torque that down, we'll be good to go. It says according to ARP's instruction, 3 equal steps up to 70. I don't know what 70 divided by 3 is. It's like 23, maybe. Nice. Good, I can read down a lot more by hand, I guess, but it's only going to 24, so. There we go. Perfect. And then 3 was this side. Yeah, the race car is still off the road. I've missed an entire race season, which is okay, I guess. I'm only crying a little bit inside, which is fine. I've done a lot of watching of racing. Maybe I'll put a video up if anybody's interested on the spectating I've been doing. Not really a good photographer, but it's cool to watch. Go check out your local races, even if you're not a race car driver. Okay. All right, and then now we crank it up to, what did I say? 23, 46, 69. So since we did like 23 and a half, we'll do 47. I dropped the motor and transmission. Of course, my phone, as usual, ran out of memory, and so I don't have a clip of it, but I dropped the motor and transmission it was on the engine hoist, went to lift it out of the car, and ended up dropping it straight onto, my pinky, and severed the tendon that goes to the tip of my pinky, which is kind of like, as far as injuries go, not really that big of a deal, but it's a little terrifying when you kind of screw yourself up. So I haven't really been super eager to be in the garage this year. So that's another reason why everything's taking so long. It's already, all right, so for this last one up to 70, I'm gonna shut up. And that way, all right, there we go. Head is torqued on. All right, with both of these, we're kind of oiling them up. Might as well just do it with the engine. Doesn't really matter. I'm just using stuff that I had. Whoa, that is messy. Pour some oil on me. The full version of this video can be found in my OnlyFans account. All right, get lined up. So now we're doing the other side. I guess that was the reason it was difficult, and I have no idea where I put that Allen key. Rocker thingamabob's in. Now we can put our rocker arms on. So we're gonna take our rocker shafts back out and then do this correctly, because these have a hole, and that has to go through that hole. Slide that on in there, and we'll be right on to the next one here. Why am I having such difficulty with this? We've got these retaining clips for the rocker arms. So it has a flat side, and the other 3 parts are rounded. Yep, and those just click in. Rocker arm can still move, but now it can't move side to side, so it's locked in a good place there. All right, there we go. Rocker arms and rocker clips are all in. Rocker shaft. Oops, forgot about this guy. Also, I was terrified of breaking the little bolt in there once we hit any resistance, so I have this rubber oil filter wrench. Amazing for this, for getting this to turn without having to worry about snapping any bolts and getting everything lined up perfectly. So, all right, we've got our new seal and our new O-ring on our camshaft retainer here. We need 2 hands for this, but hopefully it'll stop leaks we had coming like all the way down the whole front of the engine, spraying all over the engine bay. Here we go. It's all in. Just needs some little pss, and then that'll be done with the head. Alrighty, so we've got this all cleaned up. We've got all our timing cover parts cleaned up. There's new seals in the places that need new seals. So that's good. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw our lower timing cover gasket back and put a tiny bit of RTV on the tiniest little bit. Don't know if it's gonna be enough to hold it in place. So we're gonna do this. Put this on. And the general rule. All right, I'm gonna be using the same camshaft pulley that was on there in the first place. So that should be okay. And again, it has a dowel just like the oil pump pulley. Just kind of sink that in there. Get an updated look. We have a brand new timing belt for our brand new-ish engine. All right, anyway, here comes the fun. This goes bent around here. Ooh. Pull it tight. Sides. Oh, come on. Hey. Okay. All right, well done. All right, so finally we've got it timed in. These are lined up. And this is lined up, and that's even after a bunch of rotations through. So we should be good. So we're good to put the rest of the bolts back in here. We can put the upper timing cover on, the ignition stick stuff. Yeah. This thing is super fun to get installed correctly. So we're gonna get to play with that one here. Is here. That O-ring's in the right place. This is in the right place. Come on. Just stay together, please. As a family for the kids. What am I going on? Oh. What? I didn't cry once. Huh. That's new for me. Okay, so whatever that strategy was. It's actually starting to look kind of okay. It looks so satisfying and nice when you're working on a car and you just get to lay down on the ground. Especially on a nice hot day like today. Ground's nice and cool. Okay. All right, so I'll get that tightened up and then I'll test with the transmission. All right. We'll take a Craftsman alignment tool, get it inserted in all the way, and that should hold our clutch in a good enough spot there that we can now go around and tighten up our pressure plate bolts. I think if I just tighten up one. Try this out. Okay, so it does run, but it has all the exact same symptoms of the engine that we took out of the car that we thought was blown. So back to the starting diagnosing board, and maybe it's an electrical issue of some kind. I don't know. I really hope I put the engine together correctly, though. But it does run. It does run, and the car does drive just a little bit. Just not anything good. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll figure it out eventually, and we can do some actual racing.